Hello everyone, it's DuckFairy07. Today I'm playing new brew I made, which I believe is very powerful. This is Jeskai Ascendancy combo, and one player from the Discord, Colomino MTG, already did a 5-0 with this build. It also performed very well for me. All leagues I played with it was either 3-2 or 4-1. Deck felt very strong and powerful, and I believe it will be even better in the post-ban metagame. Okay, so what's going on here? We have Jeskai Ascendancy. This card says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1 and you untap those creatures. So this is the crucial part because this combos with Emry and Mishra Bubble in the graveyard or 2 Mox Ambers. So with Bubble in the graveyard, you just play the bubble, untap Emry, crack the bubble, play the bubble again, or do the same thing if you have 2 Mox Ambers. So this way you pump your Emry infinitely, and then using the second part of Jeskai Ascendancy, which also says that you every time you do this, you draw and then discard a card, you find Inti, which gives your Emry trample, and you do the lethal on the same turn. Also, sometimes you're digging for Agatha Soul Cauldron. Agatha Soul Cauldron can make your creature any creature you have on the field into Emry, which also then does the combo kill. Okay, so besides from that, we have some a lot of legendary creatures that go well with this strategy. Rona, Inti, Ragavan, Emry, 4 legendaries, very important for this strategy. Ragavan, of course, ramps us into doing this faster, providing early threat, additional win condition. Inti, great with Ragavan, great with Rona, and also good by itself, providing the card selection this deck needs. Also, it can get really crazy with Rona, and every discard you do that spell exiles, you can play it on your next turn. One ring, it's a plan B, or just really not a plan B, but let's say backup for the deck. When you don't have the combo in your starting hand, you can play the one ring, which does a lot of card drawing, which then helps you get to the combo very easily. Okay, so this is a combo deck that can kill on turn 2. So turn 1 you need to play 2 0-mana artifacts like Mox Amber plus Bubble, and then play your Emry on turn 1. Turn 2 you play your second land, you have 3 mana, play the Ascendancy, and then go infinite with a Bubble and make your Emry very large, and go for, you can also find remaining 2 embers if you're doing drawing discarding, and play Inti on the same turn so you have trample. So this is very doable. I did the turn 2 kill 2 times already across 4 leagues I played, so this is not something that happens every 100 games. It is really doable, but more realistical is that you have the combo on turn 3, turn 4, because Modern is really interactive format. Okay, so Springleaf Drum, one off, also very important for the deck. A lot of times you need Drum from your Urza Saga to do the combo, because the Jeskai Ascendancy requires all 3 colors to go off. We have some removal here, because this deck can also play a fair mid-range game. It doesn't really depend on a combo that much, but also threatening all the time to finish the game with it. Okay, so we have 4 Unholy Heats, we have Prismatic Ending. So most of the games you are winning on combo and don't need stuff like Bolt to go face over this premium removal. Unholy Heat is very good here. With Emry, finding Delirium is usually very easy. We have a lot of card types in this build. 2 Prismatic Endings for problematic permanents. It is good, very well positioned in meta at the moment. 1 Teferi, another way to bounce problematic permanents, stuff like that. Okay, so on the sideboard, second Teferi, Cascade is very popular right now, and Teferi is among best Cascade hate. Flame of Anor, we have 8 wizards in this build, and Flame of Anor is very good. I would also consider second Flame of Anor, but I was really satisfied with 1. and 2 wear tears as additional artifact enchantment removal. We have some engineered explosives as hate for hammer time scales, but most importantly Rhinos. Rhinos is the best deck at the moment. Okay, so before ban, Stone of Erech and Torment Crypt as my graveyard hate of choice. This may change after the scam ban, so I might get rid of Stone of Erech, but I was very satisfied with it so far. It's also great against Yawgmoth, it's also good against Scales, so definitely has some uses, but Torment Crypt for this build is ultimate graveyard hate because it allows you to play Emry on turn 1 more easily. It can be very important. Okay, so Shadow Spear on the side as burn hate as a way to catch up in the aggro matchups, so you win the attacking race. And the Pithing Needle also deals with a lot of problematic stuff. We get to play Giganta. Okay, so no Emry Rona combo in this build with Walking Ballista, so we get to play the Giganta, and that's it. So 21 lands, 3 Urza Sagas. I think Jeskai Ascendancy requires having all 3 mana symbols on turn 3 consistently, or turn 4, whatever. I think mana base has to be really tight like this one. And after some gameplay, I played like 5 leagues with this list, and I think this is what I'm very happy with, and that is it. Okay, so let's go check out the gameplay and see how that went. Okay, so match 1. Playing first. Okay, so in this list, in this league I played here, I actually had 1 Retraction Helix instead of 1 Agatha Soul Cauldron, and Retraction Helix was cool, it was okay. It's been decent for me, but I think having Agatha Soul Cauldron is a card that does a similar it's called that does a similar thing, but card that does similar thing, but is also very good card by itself. So you're never really sorry to draw it, and it always does something. While a Retraction Heal is also decent. It allows you to win without using your graveyard, which is sometimes very valuable, and. But mainly, I opted to go with Agatha Soul Cauldron instead, as it's very usable in the meta game, very good in a lot of matchups, also acting sometimes as a 5th Emry, winning you the game. Also, ability Ragavan has for a dash here also means a lot in a lot of cases, because you can go for lethal out of nowhere, just with Agatha, like dash Ragavan, play Agatha, give it Emry ability if you have Ascendancy on the field that is lethal. Okay, so in this game I played first and resolved the One Ring and had removal for a Karn, and that was crucial part of this game. After that it was easy for me, doing a lot of drawing with the ring, finding a lot of ways to finish this game. Okay, so here I can easily find the Jeskai Ascendancy. I have so many draws with Rona to find it, and then I find the Ascendancy, and I have the lethal with Emry here, just replaying one of my bubbles from the graveyard or Mox Ambers, whatever. I pump all my creatures to big enough so I can kill my opponent in one shot. Opponent has 0 cards in hand, they can't do anything about it. In meantime, I can like exile cards with Rona to dig deeper, but I find my win condition, I don't need it, so I can just go for the attacks with everyone and one shot my opponent. That is the game. Okay, so let's check out the game 2. Okay, so in the game 2, I kept decent hand. If I had Emry here, it would be like extremely good. This way, I bubble myself, leave the spell pierce on top. I was expecting they play like stuff like Karn, the One Ring. So I definitely wanted to have pierce here. Let's check out my sideboarding decision. Okay, so this was not actually this sideboard didn't work for me. I changed it a lot in a game too. I took out all my Unholy Heats, playing first, hoping I won't need it, but I should have left 2 in to get rid of Sheldred. Sheldred is just very big threat, and if I can get rid of it and games go long, it's too big a problem. So that was not a great decision. Definitely can use at least 2 of my heats post board. We will see. I changed the sideboarding in second game, so we can check that in the next game. Okay, so here I decide to go for Inti, tap out, and my opponent plays another demolition field. Now I have no more lands, no more basics to find. Opponent didn't seem to have anything great, but they had a lot of removals so far. I was able to attack with Inti, exile Emry, and now casting Emry means I get very close to having lethal actually very soon. But I can get rid of the ley line. If I can get rid of ley line, this game would be super easy for me. But at least I find some threats which can attack, and yeah, so now opponent resolves the Sheldred, and this is now a problem because I boarded out my Unholy Heat, and I left I have 1 Flame of Anor in, and that was not a good decision, definitely. So now I was in a big problem, as I said. Boarded out my heats, no solution for Sheldred, and yeah. Okay, so my draws were not also good, a lot of lands, Ascendancy I can't really use, Emrys into Leyline of the Void, definitely not cards I wanted. Opponent had Bowmasters plus Sheldred, which I was not able to solve, and even with the ring, ring didn't mean that much right now because they had a lot of hate for the ring. So that was game over. Let's check out the game 3. Okay, so this time I definitely bring back the heats in, and this is the correct sideboard, I think, for this matchup. Okay, so I didn't bring in the Needle here. Needle is decent against Karn, but can't really name the One Ring because I also play it, and there, except for Karn, there are no other good targets. Okay, so here I go for the Rona. Opponent doesn't have Bowmaster, so I can freely just do bunch of the Rona abilities. I go for Mox Amber, then Ragavan to do Rona ability 3 times this turn, so I can now start making constructs which attack for a lot of damage, and yeah. So now I have a construct and Ragavan attacking, still Rona there to find more good draws from the top. I find the One Ring for the next turn and attack with my opponent, and they didn't draw a land they wanted. I here resolve the One Ring and also have infinite with Retraction Helix and the Mox Amber, so I have infinite mana here. I can play One Ring many times, then draw a bunch of cards, draw my entire deck and do the kill on the same turn. I was actually missing like 1 mana to do Ascendancy thing, but I can do a lot of stuff, just play a lot of cards from my deck and yeah, win. So that was it. I can make my constructs like for attack for lethal damage or stuff like that. So that was the match. Okay, let's check out match 2. Okay, so match 2 I was playing against Doomwake. He was on Rhinos. And yeah, I gotta say that Rhinos was very good matchup for this deck. I think I didn't lose a single match against Rhinos in 4-5 leagues I played, and I played a lot against Rhinos. Okay, so Emry is pretty nice into connecting with Ragavan. Costs 2 mana, can go for Urza Saga on turn 2 and start doing Mox Amber or Misha Bubble thing. I actually played one ring from the graveyard, successfully resolve it, then go for Bubble. I now have one ring on the field, drawing me a bunch of cards. I go for Ascendancy here and go for Infinite. I have two attackers, Emry and Ragavan. Opponent, I have Infinite with Ascendancy. Opponent didn't seem to have a response to it, and they concede the match immediately. Also, if they didn't, I also have Inti in my hand to go for lethal, and I can draw a bunch of cards with one ring and Ascendancy, of course, finding removal for their blockers or whatever. So that is the match. Opponent concedes. Let's check out the game 2. Okay, so let's check the sideboarding plan for the Rhinos. Okay, so I want it's very simple. I want 4 spell pierces. I want my Teferi from the sideboard. And yeah, that is the main cards. Also 2 engineered explosives. So a lot of cards for this matchup because I believe this will be among most popular decks for some time on MTGO. And yeah, here I had Spell Pierce, I had explosives, also had Emry to recast explosives from a graveyard, which is very good. I decided not to crack explosives, but to play Inti there and hold the Spell Pierce for their turn. Luckily, I had Spell Pierce to get rid of their Blood Moon, and I was able to crack my explosives and start doing the Emry abilities and create my construct token. Yeah, this time opponent goes for the Blood Moon again, but I don't really care that much about Moon. I also have a Mox Amber in my graveyard. I have Mox Amber in my graveyard and I can produce a blue mana with it. And yeah, that was enough for my opponent. They conceded there and that was the match. Okay, so let's check out another win and then we'll go through the defeat later. Okay, so playing first, pretty good hand. I can go turn 1 Ragavan if I connect. Yeah, that was what I wanted here, to just connect with Ragavan and play turn 2 Emry. Hopefully mill over the bubble or Mox Amber, that is also good. And this way I can start doing Emry abilities, which is very powerful. When you can start doing this like turn 2 or turn 3, in most cases you win those games. Okay, so they had Bowmasters. So I just played my Mox Amber from the graveyard and my plan was obviously going for the construct tokens here. Try creating my construct as big as possible, and yeah, I draw Jeskai Ascendancy for turn, and I have I could go for a lethal here, but I don't have my mana was tough, so it was close for me having it was kind of close for me having enough mana to do everything, so I decided to wait a turn, and yeah, next turn I was able to do the thing, but they had Havarmite, so I just forced them into sacking the Havarmite before combat. They were now forced to jump my constructs, putting them in a pretty bad position. The opponent gets to kill my Emry, but it's not important. All I care about are my constructs here. And they have to jump again. I have a lot of good cards in my hand. I find Inti to give a trample to one of the constructs, and that is enough for the lethal. So that is game 1. Let's check out the game 2. Okay, so let's see the sideboarding plan against Junt. Okay, I decided to get rid of all my Ragavans in this matchup on the draw, because my opponent plays both Wrenn 6 and Orcish Bowmasters, and that is a lot of hate for Ragavan. Trimmed one Jeskai Ascendancy, also doing that against most Bowmasters deck. I think like trimming one is okay, and that's it. Just bring in also some graveyard hate, so get rid of Drum to find space for it, and that is it. Okay, so yeah, Retraction Helix wasn't really that bad in this league. It was useful in a few occasions, but I kind of decided to go for Agatha Soul Cauldron in the end. Preferred versatility of Soul Cauldron and just being a good card. Overall, a very overall good card that that is useful in a lot of situations. Okay, so actually my opponent had 3 Wrenn 6 in their hand, and I played Pithing Needle on turn 1 naming Wrenn 6, so that was a very good decision. I was able to kill the Bowmaster, so I can crack the bubble. Also had another heat in my hand for their Bowmasters on top. And yeah, play the Ember, play the bubble, grow the construct token, continue attacking my opponent, not in a good situation. I was able to use the Minamo to untap Emry, play bubble 2 times. Opponent goes for Tear and Thunder, kills the construct. And yeah, they can play the Bowmasters here, but they know I have removal. Yeah, so they decide to go for heat instead there, prevent me from doing additional draws. Okay. So I just fetch here, pass the turn. Expecting them to go for the Bowmasters, but they didn't do it, just waiting as long as maximal they can. Okay, so going Giganta hand here, and opponent goes for the Bowmasters as expected, and end of turn I decide to get rid of the token first, and then Prismatic Ending on my turn, their Bowmaster, and again pass the turn. I have a lot of removal here, Ending, Heat and Explosives, covering most of the stuff they can play. Yeah, so opponent trying to find another threat probably, removing my graveyard. Yeah, so plus the Teferi here. Next turn, with the Teferi on the field, I have mana to play Giganta. So Giganta in this situation, pretty good threat, they have to remove it as soon as possible. I go for Giganta. I really like how Teferi plays well with the Mox Ambers, sometimes bouncing the Mox Amber with Teferi, getting the draw, then replaying the Mox Amber, getting that additional mana was crucial and enabled me to do the combo kills. Okay, so yeah, in the top deck mode, but I have a lot of good cards in my hand. I go for Inti attack, put my opponent to 4, then play the One Ring, doing a lot of draws here. Didn't want to risk anything, so didn't want to shock. Just play the ring, play the stone, and that's it. So I go for attack here, attacking for lethal with Inti and the trample. Opponent tries to make a blocker, but I have a removal for it, and that was the game and the match. So that was it against a Junt. Let's check out match 4 and win number 4. Okay, so playing first and a pretty good hand. 2 Ronas, removal and Urza Saga. Okay, so I was playing against Yawgmoth. Games against Yawgmoth were pretty interesting and definitely in a lot of cases were dice roll dependent. Both decks can combo off very soon, and it definitely depends a lot if who's playing first, because in cases like that sometimes Rona can be a lot worse if you're playing second and they get to play like double bowmasters until you start doing the Rona stuff or whatever. Okay, so here I was able to do some card selection with Rona and discard the cards I don't need, and went for the ring there, pumping my construct, playing Emry with Ascendancy in hand. Emry on field always is threatening for the lethal on the next turn. Okay, so opponent goes for Ascendancy and kills my Emry, unfortunately. So I'm not able to do this, and yeah, opponent goes for the bowmasters in response to the ring. I have Unholy Heat to prevent this. And yeah, that's it. So opponent now has Agatha Soul Cauldron. They have Rona exiled below it. They have Grist on the field. So I have ring on my side, but yeah, Agatha Soul Cauldron with the cards they have here can be extremely good. So they can kill their Grist, kill my creature, then exile Grist with Cauldron and start making a bunch of Grist abilities each turn. So it was definitely hard decision. My opponent didn't play perfectly, which allowed me to win this game, which basically seems impossible at the moment. Okay, so I was able to draw more good stuff, get the construct tokens on the field, and opponent next turn finds the Yawgmoth, and yeah, now it seemed even worse with so many creatures with counters doing the Grist abilities. Now they also have a Yawgmoth. If I kill it, they can just exile it with Agatha, so it don't accomplish much. Okay, so here I have two big construct tokens. I go for Emry and play the ring and just play another creature, draw more cards with the ring, and doing attacks, opponent jumping, of course. This doesn't mean much because opponent has a lot of these jumpers, so they can make a lot of them each turn. Okay, so I put Rona and Emry on the field, and my opponent focuses on removing those creatures. I played the One Ring next turn, so they can't attack me this turn. Yeah, so they're focused on killing Rona, and probably just brain farted and attacked me here with a bunch of creatures. Probably they forgot I played One Ring or whatever. Okay, so opponent had 3 blockers in this situation, but they also misplayed here. So I got out of this pretty hard situation, mainly because my opponent misplayed there. Okay, so I played Inti and I played Jeskai Ascendancy. In response to Ascendancy, Inti threatens here to draw a bunch of cards with Ascendancy on the field. So in response to this, my opponent sacrifices 2 of their creatures, but they decide to sacrifice creatures that were their blockers for this turn, and they didn't sacrifice the creatures they were attacked with. So I exile their only blocker at the moment. They have 6 cards in hand, which is a lot, but yeah, one of those has to be like Orcish Bowmasters if they want to survive a turn. Okay, opponent got rid of my Ascendancy, and they went to start doing the Yawgmoth abilities on my constructs. Yeah, but each time they make my construct smaller, they lose 1 life, and opponent draw a bunch of cards there and successfully finding a solution for my constructs, but they basically destroyed their entire board, and I was able to hit their Yawgmoth. Okay, so opponent again makes some mistakes here, sacrifices their Geist before when it had the counter on it, so it lost at the Undying. That was not a good decision, and here I had multiple ways to do the lethal. I just went Ragavan dash Inti, give it 1 counter and do 3 lethal damage. Yeah, but this was mainly because my opponent misplayed multiple times in this match. And by not conceding here, not giving up, I was able to get the win. Okay, so yeah, when you can do the Emry on turn 1, these kind of games are just extremely strong. Like turn 1 Emry into turn 2 Flame of Anor, it's almost like disgusting a bit. It can be very powerful, but opponent has Bowmasters, so I can't really do a Flame of Anor into drawing cards, because then they get to do 2 damage with it and kill my Emry. Okay, so opponent goes for Grist, sacrifices the Bowmaster, killing my Rona. Okay, I draw the Retraction Helix, and the Retraction Helix with Ascendancy means lethal. So basically in this situation I can use Retraction Helix as a 1 mana card to save one of my permanents. But if I find the Ascendancy, it can be a combo kill. Also, if I have Rona, it can produce me infinite mana with Mox Amber. Okay, so, but yeah, in this case, without Ascendancy, without Rona, it wasn't really helpful. But it was fine. Opponent goes for a Soul Cauldron here again. I have Torment Crypt. I can replay it multiple times with my Emry. I discarded here just to put counter on my construct, give it trample, make finding lethal easier for me. Replayed the Emry, passing the turn. So next turn I have 2 large constructs. I have Heat to try to go for the lethal. I played the Torment Script before combat, go for a double Heat, exile the Geist before the Undying trigger, attack with everything, and opponent has the Force of Vigor to kill my constructs, but I go in with Inti. And yeah, so now putting Giganta to hand. Giganta with Inti is also really relevant. Again, my opponent fails because they didn't kill Inti before the trigger, so I was able to put counter on Emry and do the lethal on the same turn, and that was it. Okay, so that was the match, and let's check out the loss in this league. Okay, so decent hand, nothing great but playable. So I have turn 2 Rona. Rona can really fix your hand if your opponent can't remove it. So I played my Canal, played Rona, drawing ending for a turn is nice. Next turn I can go like loot with Rona and then play Emry. So obviously I was playing against Living End, and having Rona in situation like this was pretty nice. I was able to loot with Rona, then untap Rona, mill 4 with Emry. I was hoping to put some creatures into yard this way, unfortunately didn't hit any and didn't also draw any with Rona, so I was not able to discard anything. But I had the One Ring to play on the next turn. Yeah, so this was my plan, like play the One Ring, buy time until they do when they do the Living Ends thing. But unfortunately my opponent got the grief to discard both of my rings before my turn, and yeah, I got my Rona back, but that wasn't enough unfortunately for this game, so that was it. Okay, let's check out game 2. Okay, so similar to the Rhino match, what I want for this matchup is obviously Graveyard Hate. I have 2 Graveyard Hate pieces, I have a second Teferi on my sideboard, and I have 4 Spell Pierces. All really good cards for the Cascade decks, and that is it. So, game 2 here, going with Inti on turn 2, and I have Spell Pierce for the next turn, and doing some card selection with Inti also helpful. Opponent doing the cycling, nothing special, but they have the grief here, and yes, for some reason they decide to take the One Ring. Not sure, leaving the Spell Pierce was the right choice, but yeah, I attack. Inti was just brutal here. Inti find me the Teferi, and I can play Teferi, and also because I also had the 0 mana Torment Crypt here, so I was safe from living in next turn anyway. And now I have a creature attacking, I have Torment Crypt, I have Teferi on the field, basically impossible for them to win. I think I failed here because I minused my Teferi. I should have waited. If obviously the only thing they can do here is go for a fair aggro plan, so holding Teferi bounce can be valuable in this situation. Yeah, I go for attack with Inti plus my Teferi. Play the Rona and pass the turn, holding the Spell Pierce, of course. So if they kill my Teferi and go for the Living End, I still have the Spell Pierce. I don't have to use. If I let them resolve it, I don't have any creatures in the yard, which means lethal damage. So here I go just for the attacks with Inti, put another counter on Inti, give it trample, and that is lethal. Also finding another Teferi was sweet, but not needed because I had the lethal there. And yeah, so we went for the game 3. Okay, so I think this matchup is pretty decent. Yeah, maybe this wasn't like the best hand, but when you have like turn 1 Emry and Bubble and Mox Amber, I think you just kind of got to keep this. Also, I'm playing two of my artifact graveyard pieces. I have Torment Script, I have the 1-mana artifact. So this means I get to draw a card with bubble, I get to replay the bubble with Emry, and also dig more with Emry, try to find more solutions. Okay, so I had the spell pierce here and I cracked the bubble. Unfortunately, I see the force of negation. This means spell pierce is not enough to win. So what I needed here was a land. So I was drawing a bunch of cards with a bubble each turn, but still I was struggling to get a land. I couldn't get it, so I went for attacks with Ragavan. My opponent had the Cascade here, but decides to let Ragavan anyway. So I activate Emry, and yeah, my plan here was go for a Teferi. If they go for Living End in response, put these guys on the field, then or use the Force of Negation, whatever, I just make them use it. Didn't have much options because I know my opponent has a force, so didn't have any ways out. I needed to have a Pierce plus mana plus for Pierce plus the Fairy maybe. Opponent hand was just too good in this game 3, and I was also mana screwed, which yeah, maybe I should have mulliganed that first hand, but having turn 1 Emry digging for graveyard hate pieces and returning a Mishra Bubble to dig even more, that seems like really the one of the most powerful stuff this deck can do. And also my opponent doesn't play really removal to get rid of Emry, so I found the spell pierce, but a single spell pierce was not enough, and that was the game. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you like the deck, hope you like the gameplay. I think this deck is really strong, and it's really good against Rhinos. I did exceptionally well against them. The Saga plan is strong against them. Also the combo plan is very good. The ring is good, buying you time till you can combo off, which is big problem for them. Also post board having Pierce plus the Fairy plus explosives, it's very hard for them to deal with all of that. Deck is great into this meta, and it will be even better in the post-ban meta game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this deck more. As I said, one user got the 5-0, so he did some minor changes to the main and the side. This list will also be posted soon, so I think I will start seeing it even more and more. I believe it's really strong, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So, okay, that is it for today. Friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, give me your gameplay experience in the comments with this deck. And yeah, so excited to hear the feedback. This is definitely a deck you can play very competitively, take to the RCQ without any fear and do well, kind of surprise the opponents with a very strong underdog list. Okay, so that is it for today. Again, thank you for watching, and goodbye.